In a world where every borderline is a battle line, is China's new map just a depiction of territory or a declaration of war?
Tonight we begin with China. It has launched another map war. Just days after an agreement on diffusing the border conflict with India, China has resorted to another provocation.
China has released a new version of its standard map, much to the frustration of its neighbours, who have accused Beijing of claiming parts of their territory.
Several countries have rejected China's new standard map.
It's a violation of the law. That's where I put that map.
Today, China's new map sparks anger.
China may hold India hostage on this issue.
Now, the controversy over China's new standard map continues to rage.
Yep, China's gone and stirred up a whole hornet's nest with its latest move, releasing a brand spanking new map that's got governments from all over the Asia-Pacific region seeing red. And let me tell you, the official objections just keep on rolling in. So, what's China claiming with its new map, and why is it causing such a fuss? What's China's response to the uproar over the map? And why in the world would China release such a controversial map? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive headfirst into this map madness and uncover why it's got everyone's feathers ruffled. All right, guys, let's break it down. What's China really claiming with this new map? Well, they've whipped up this shiny new map as part of what they're calling a cleanup operation for what they see as problem maps. But here's where things get dicey. They're drawing some pretty bold lines in the sand, and not everyone's happy about it. First up, we've got the infamous 9-dash line, a big old swath of territory that China's marking as its very own in the South China Sea. They're basically saying, hey, this is ours, and they're not leaving much room for debate. And if that's not enough, they've even thrown in a cheeky 10th dash east of Taiwan, just for good measure. But wait, there's more. Head on over to the northeastern corner, and you'll find Bolshoi Ussuriski Island, sitting pretty on the border with Russia. Now, here's the kicker. China's claiming it as their own, even though Russia and China had a little chat about splitting it up nearly 20 years ago. And as if that's not enough drama for one map, let's mosey on down to the southern border with India. China's not holding back here either, guys. They're slapping their name on places like Arunachal Pradesh and the Doklam Plateau, areas that China and India have been bickering over for ages. And don't even get me started on Aksai Chin. China's got a firm grip on it, even though India's still waving its flag. Now, as you can imagine, China's claims in the South China Sea have stirred up quite the pot, sparking tension with neighbors like Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and the Philippines, who all have their own ideas about who owns what. And if that's not enough drama for you, China and India have been locking horns over their border for decades, leading to some pretty intense showdowns. So how did the neighbors react to China's new map? Well, India was the first to throw down the gauntlet, saying China's claims are about as solid as a house of cards. They called out China's moves as just making things even more complicated,
which was published by the Ministry of Natural Resources to mark Surveying and Mapping Law Publicity Day and National Territory Awareness Publicity Week. China has regularly published updated editions of its standard map since at least 2006. Their new map continues to show the northeastern Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh.
And they weren't alone. Malaysia jumped on the bandwagon, rejecting China's claims and saying, hey, this map ain't the boss of us.
The Malaysian Foreign Ministry put out a statement rejecting China's unilateral maritime claims, adding that the map has no binding effect on Malaysia.
And the hits just keep on coming. Vietnam, Taiwan, Indonesia, and the Philippines have all joined the chorus, saying nope to China's big claims. Vietnam, in particular, is not pulling any punches, calling out China's map as a violation of international law and throwing shade by banning a Barbie movie just because it showed the disputed territories. Talk about taking a stand. But hold on to your hats, guys, because The drama doesn't stop there. Warner Bros., the studio behind the Barbie movie, said the map was just a childlike crayon drawing and had nothing to do with politics. But Vietnam wasn't buying it, and neither was the Philippines, which later gave the movie the green light to be screened despite the controversy. Now let's talk about Taiwan, the little island that's got a big voice when it comes to China's claims. They're standing firm against that pesky 9-dash line and Beijing's South China Sea shenanigans.
Malaysia and the Philippines have also condemned this move by Beijing.
Just after a week of all these going down, Philippine boats decided to brave the waters and break through a Chinese Coast Guard blockade in a disputed area of the South China Sea. They were on a mission to deliver supplies to Filipino forces, holding down the fort on a contested shoal. Talk about standing your ground. And speaking of standing your ground, the Philippines didn't hold back in their response to China's map. They dusted off a 2016 ruling from an arbitration tribunal in The Hague, which basically said, "Hey China, your claims don't hold water." This ruling gave the Philippines the thumbs up to control resources in their own exclusive economic zone, and they're not about to forget it. But what about Russia, you ask? Well, they've been keeping pretty quiet on the whole thing. And can you blame them? With China in their corner during the whole Ukraine debacle, they're not exactly eager to rock the boat. Now let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth. What does China have to say about all this map mayhem? Well, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin decided to do a little dance around the tough questions when asked about that infamous 9-dash line and why they've been throwing in a sneaky 10th dash lately. Instead of giving a straight answer, he just repeated China's usual spiel, saying, "Our stance on the South China Sea is crystal clear." But wait, there's more. He didn't stop there. Oh no. When pressed about all the protests and uproar over the map, he just brushed it off, calling the map update a routine practice and saying it's all about educating the public on how to read maps the right way. And just when you thought you'd heard it all, he dropped this little nugget. We hope that everyone can look at this objectively and rationally. Talk about having a pair on you.
The release of the standard map is routine practice in accordance with China's exercise of sovereignty. We hope that relevant parties will view this matter objectively and calmly and avoid over-interpretation.
Now let's wrap things up by taking a closer look at why China decided to drop this bombshell of a map right now. You see, this national map is no ordinary doodle. It's an annual tradition that could pop up at any time. And China's no stranger to controversy when it comes to their claims. But this time, they decided to stir the pot at a particularly interesting moment. Picture this. Just after a late August powwow of the BRICS nations, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, China decided to whip out the map. And if that's not enough, they were also gearing up for some high-level meetings with the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, and the Group of 20, G20, rich and developing nations.
And this map has also been released just days after the BRICS summit in Johannesburg, where Chinese President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Modi met briefly, and also a week ahead of the G20 summit in Delhi, where Chinese and Indian delegations will be meeting again. Is China setting the tone for this meeting?
Now, the moment the whole was waiting on was finally here, the BRICS meeting. At those meetings, China and Russia were basically joined at the hip, teaming up to invite some new countries to the party, Iran and Saudi Arabia, to be exact. And while they were at it, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping even had a little chat about their border beef, agreeing to try and cool things down. And here's something interesting. Most of the countries China's been squabbling with over those South China Sea claims are ASEAN members. And guess who's hosting the G20 talks? You got it, India.
This new map is China's way of setting the tone for the conversation.
So why drop the map bomb now? Well, China's basically saying, hey, we're not backing down, and we want everyone to know it. They're making sure their claims are fresh in everyone's minds, just in case things start heating up again. So there you have it, guys. A behind-the-scenes look at why China's new map is making waves right now. Stick around because this story's far from over, and to watch the latest geopolitical news, watch this video here.